For 6 weeks, one team had looked like the best in the world. Ruthless, balanced, getting stronger with every round. That team was France. And in the semi-final, in front of a full house in Dallas, they did not simply lose a football match. They were taken apart. Spain, too. France needed, and the scoreline flattered the losers. The strange part? Spain barely had more of the ball. Across the 90 minutes, it was almost even, and it did not matter in the slightest. This is how the tournament's best team was dismantled. The single corridor Spain attacked all night. The midfield that played 3 against 2. The defense that erased the best player alive. And a manager, 12 years in charge, watching his era end in real time. And it all begins with 15 meters of grass, because both Spanish goals and the best chance that didn't count came from the exact same place. Every game plan starts with a question: where is the other team weakest? Spain found France's answer, and it had a name. Lucas Digne, France's left back, an experienced, capable defender, asked to handle the most dangerous teenager on the planet, 1 against 1, for 90 minutes. That teenager is Lamine Yamal, and Spain built their entire first half around one idea: give him the ball in space and let him run straight at Digne, again and again. Behind Yamal came Pedro Porro, overlapping from right back, handing France 2 problems down a side where they could barely solve one. 22 minutes in, it broke. A high ball dropped into the French box. Digne climbed to clear it. Yamal read a fraction earlier, slid his body in front, and Digne caught the man instead of the ball. Penalty. Mikel Oyarzabal sent mine in the wrong way. 1-0. And it kept coming from the same 15 meters. Minutes later, Yamal beat Digne for pace again, cut inside, and finished, chalked off by a fingernail for offside. But the message could not have been louder. Spain had found one corridor. They would live in it all night. If the corridor was where Spain scored, the midfield was where they won. France lined up with 2 holding midfielders behind 4 attackers, Tchouaméni and Rabiot screening the back 4. On paper, a side loaded with talent. In the center, a side outnumbered. Because Spain played 3 in midfield: Rodri, Fabián Ruiz, and Dani Olmo. 3 against 2. And inside that single spare man lived the entire match. Rodri and Fabián Ruiz had time. Time to turn, time to lift their heads, time to choose. The one luxury you can never hand the Spain side. The man meant to fix it was Mikel Oyarzabal, France's link between midfield and attack. He found no space to breathe. He was hauled off with 20 minutes to go, long after the game had drifted away. And without that link, France's forwards were stranded. Mbappé, Dembélé, Barcola, magnificent alone, marooned together. Mbappé said it himself afterwards. From the start, we were 3 against 2 in midfield. Fabián and Rodri had all the time in the world. We needed to go man-to-man. We didn't. And conducting all of it was Dani Olmo. 90 minutes drifting between the lines, taking the ball in the tightest pockets on the pitch, and misplacing exactly 1 pass all night. When your most advanced midfielder almost never gives it away, the counterattack you were built on simply never comes. Here is the number that explains the night. When Spain scored their first, they had barely more of the ball than France, roughly 56-44. This was not death by possession. Spain have learned something more dangerous: how to control a match without hoarding the ball. Out of possession, they folded into a tight, narrow block, every player close to the next. No gaps between the lines for a French pass to land in. But the block was never passive. From inside it, one man would suddenly jump out to press, most often Pau Cubarsí, stepping up from defense to kill the pass before it was even played. Picture an old shield wall, everyone locked tight together. Then a single spear darts out, and the wall seals again. Compact, but never still. And whenever Spain lost the ball, they kept at least 3 players behind it. So the French counter, their whole identity all tournament, had nowhere to run. The defensive line was set perfectly, high enough to strangle, deep enough that nothing could be slipped in behind. France could not go through it, and they could not go over it. So total was the control that Spain could afford to let a defender score the killer goal, which is exactly what happened next. Every French plan, in the end, runs back to one man, Kylian Mbappé. The whole tournament had been his stage. Dallas was where the lights went out. The job of erasing him fell to a 19-year-old. How Cubarsí did not outmuscle Mbappé. He outread him. Time after time, Cubarsí saw the run before Mbappé made it, stepping across, closing the lane, timing the offside line, so the Frenchman was flagged before the ball ever reached him. The captain of France, the finest player at this World Cup, went the entire night without a single shot on target. The second time that has happened to him in his last 15 World Cup games. And on the rare occasion France did break through, Marc Cucurella was waiting. Twice. First, a deflection that sent Mbappé's best effort kissing the outside of the post. Then a block on the goal line in the final instant, keeping the sheet clean at the exact moment the game could still have turned. Spain, meanwhile, were busy ending it. 58 minutes. Porro again on the right. A 1-2 with Olmo, and he burst through the gap where William Saliba should have been. Saliba had limped off injured before halftime. His replacement, Lacroix, was a half-step slow. Porro slid in behind him and finished past mine in. 2-0. A right back, arriving from the very corridor Spain had targeted all night, had put the semi-final to bed. In the end, France did not lose because of one player or one substitution. They lost because they had no answer to a question they had never been asked. All tournament, France had been praised for their transition defense, for snuffing out counterattacks. But Spain do not counter. Spain keep the ball and squeeze. France had never been tested by that. The first time they failed. It was made worse by cruelty. William Saliba, their most important defender, limped off before the break. Everything that could go wrong did. And Didier Deschamps? Every change he made felt 10 minutes too late. By the time he reacted, the match had already decided itself. This was the final act of an era. 12 years, 2 World Cup finals, a European final. Deschamps walks away as one of the most successful managers France has ever had. It simply ended on the wrong side of masterclass. Mbappé's own verdict was honest to the point of pain. If we're being objective, we did not bring the ingredients you need to reach a final. For Spain, it is something historic. This one matched the longest unbeaten run any European nation has ever held, 37 matches, a record set by Italy. Win the final, and they break it outright, lifting the World Cup as they do. Waiting for them, the winner of Argentina and England, 2 more giants deciding the other finalists. Champions who keep surviving eventually meet an examiner who does not blink. In Dallas, Spain were that examiner. Very soon, we find out who examines them.